Hi friends, welcome back to another Read Aloud with Mr. Ward. So for today's story I have Knuffle Bunny. This one's a cautionary tale by Mo Willems. This is the same author that does the pigeon stories. Not so long ago, before she could even speak words, Trixie went on an errand with her daddy. Trixie and her daddy went down the block, through the park, past the school, and into the laundromat. Trixie helped her daddy put the laundry into the machine. I don't know how much help she was actually being, though. She even got to put the money into the machine. Then they left. Oh, but look inside the washing machine. But a block or so later, Trixie realized something. Trixie turned to her daddy and said, "I go flackle clobble." "That's right," replied her daddy. "We're going home." Poor Trixie can't speak yet, so she's trying to tell her dad something. "I go flackle clobble," said Trixie again. "Blackle plabble, wobbly flappy, snurp." "Now, please don't get fussy," said her daddy. Well, she had no choice. Trixie bawled, "Wah!" She went boneless. She did everything she could to show how unhappy she was. By the time they got home, her daddy was unhappy too. Oh man, look at Daddy. He looked very upset. As soon as Trixie's mommy opened the door, she asked, "Where's Knuffle Bunny?" Look at Trixie. She looks annoyed like she's been trying to tell Dad the whole time. The whole family ran down the block. And they ran through the park. They zoomed past the school and into the laundromat. Trixie's daddy looked for Knuffle Bunny and looked and looked and looked, but Knuffle Bunny was nowhere to be found. Uh-oh, poor Trixie. So Trixie's daddy decided to look harder. Until Knuffle Bunny! And those were the first words Trixie ever said. I like that story. I think it's very funny how poor little Trixie's trying to speak to her dad, but she's just speaking baby talk because she doesn't know words yet. And then at the very end, she knows exactly how to say her favorite toy, Knuffle Bunny. All right, practice your 5 fingers of retell. Character, setting, the beginning, middle, and end. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi guys. So for today's activity, I'm going to show you another paper pet that you can make. Last time we did a frog. This time we're going to make a bird. And this bird actually flaps its wings when you pull on the tail. All right. So go ahead and follow the instructions the best you can. Take your time. If you want to pause the video, that'll help out a lot. All right, guys. So to start off, obviously you're just going to need a piece of paper This is just a regular old size piece of paper that I got out of the computer. And we're going to need to fold it down the same way we started the frog. So you're going to bring down the top side so that it lines up on the left side or the right side, because we're going to make it into a square. Once you have it lined up, go ahead and flatten out and make it a crease. That way we know that it's exactly right, so long as your sides are lined up and you have a nice pointy corner on the top. Now for me on the bottom, to get rid of this little extra strip, sometimes I just fold it up and measure it that way. That way I know exactly where I need to tear it. But you could also just look at it and cut it with a piece of, or with some scissors, just to get it out of the way. But what I'm doing here is I'm going to fold it up right on the same part where the other piece of the paper ends, and I'm going to flatten it out really, really tight, and then I'll just tear it off. All right, and then once you get that torn off, you can get rid of that piece. We don't need it any longer. And you should have a perfect square once you open up your triangle. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold down the other corners. Now this is just to help me with folds for later on. So now I'm just going to kind of prep my piece of paper. So the side that has the fold already on it, fold along that line, and then you'll open it back up. So now you have an X of a fold. Turn it over, and instead of an X, we're going to have kind of a cross, like a plus sign. So we'll fold it up just like this, and open it up, turn it, and do the exact same thing. So when you're all done, you should have so many folds all over your paper. And I'll open mine up and I'll show you what that looks like. All right. And now here, I meant for you guys to fold it in, but I did it the backwards direction. So this is what you would have did if you were making the frog. So you see how it kind of looks similar to that? And then this is where I realized it. So now I need to open it back up, turn it over, and fold it in this way. So what you're going to do is you're going to pinch two sides, and not pinch the whole thing, just pinch the two sides and then slowly bring it in together. And it's going to have kind of 4 wings sticking out, just like this. And then you can press it down. You should have a smaller square now. It should look like that, or a diamond. So now what you're going to do is you're going to fold over one of the top flaps and line it up on that fold that was right in the middle. That was one of the reasons we had the practice folding, is so we could have all these lines to make it easier. Fold the other side over, make sure it's nicely lined up. And then I just fold the top down because it's going to make it easier when I fold it a little later, but I open it back up. And now turn it over and do the exact same thing to the other side. Fold the flap over, line it up in the middle. And once you have that, do the other side. And the same with the top part, you're going to fold that down just so it's got a nice little crease on it. All right, so now the tricky part. Open up those flaps from one side, and you're going to open and pull up just the very top piece of paper. Now the outsides of this need to kind of roll in, so it gets a little tricky, so take your time. You don't need to rush through the video. And then once you have the triangle all the way at the top, you're going to press it all down so it's nice and smooth. It should look something just like this. Okay? And now we're going to turn it back over and do the exact same thing to the other side. And remember, take your time. You don't want it to be in a hurry. You want it to be nice and smooth. You can see mine was being a little bit difficult, but the slower you go and the smoother you make it, the nicer it'll turn out in the end. All right, so now you're going to just turn it like a page of a book. So just one fold, one piece of paper, and we're going to fold this part up now. And then you're going to go to the one that you still have left pointing down, and you'll fold that part up. So now you should kind of have 4 triangles all pointing up. I'm going to smash mine down, make it a little easier to use. All right, so it kind of looks like a tall triangle this way, but if you look at it from the top, you'll see all the points coming up there. So now we need to make the neck stick out just a bit. So you're just going to kind of pull it forward, and then we'll make a new fold for it down here. And we'll do the same thing for the tail. We're going to pull it way out the back, and we're going to have to fold it too. That way they stay in place. So there you go. You have your neck and your tail. Now the wings, I just kind of roll them through my fingers to give it a little bit of a bend. It helps it with flapping them. So you should have that little bit of a bend to it. And now The head, you just kind of pull down a little bit. You don't want to fold it all the way over. Just fold it down in the middle and poke it forward. And you can also draw eyes on it and color this all you want. But there you go. You pull the tail and it'll make the wings flat for you and you have your bird. You can also pull open the legs just a little bit and it'll stand up for you all on its own. All right, have some fun.